So the prize is for the flounder. Well, yes, Seaver. Obviously, if you win and want to pass it on to somebody else, that's your choice too.
And
Yeah,
it
you
should
can
be
pass it to me.
You know, you can pass it to me.
Uh,
I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
bite me.
Yeah, I
have an
Duckman.
alt account.
I Duckman. That's why I'm going based off of points that have been earned. I think that's the better way to do it. Let me see. Because if I'm looking at not season, if I'm looking at for the Grand Prix itself, Duckman, I don't see you finishing 6th place on the first race.
He said he finished 6th on the second.
I don't see that either.
Yeah, I don't see it on either as well, so...
You're still running Tiny Tims?
Yeah, the flak change in 10.1, when I want to go in with H-bars, it takes 4 seconds to prep, so I almost always want to start the attack run at like 3.7, and flak keeps aiming until you cross 3.5 clicks, which means more than half the time there's a flak wall that suddenly appears at like 2.7 kilometers from the ship, so I can point at the ship and eat a flak wall, or I could abort. So Tiny Tims only take 3 seconds to prep, which means I can start the attack run closer and prevent placing that flak wall there.
The caveat, of course, that Tiny Tims are very sensitive to movement, so you have to line it up properly on your first shot.
Yeah, correct.
So, anyway, as we're watching the replay here, this is a ranked game. You're up against another Midway. You've got 2 Thunderers of Montana to deal with. Obviously, you're trying to get that early reset on CCAP with your bombers. Interesting you did not pre-drop. Is that because you expected the destroyers to be out more alone?
I didn't pre-drop, one, because I wanted to have as much possible. If I lost a few extra planes, it just means that I still get to go in.
Okay.
Destroyers, if they want to cap this early, they have to outrun their other ships, so he doesn't have to worry about AA.
Yeah, I double dropped fighters over the Kleber because it has no smoke, so theoretically it could have been prey to the enemy Midway. So
Okay.
that's why I double fightered B.
Just ask him to dodge.
It's hard.
Yeah, Duckman, I apologize. I took a look at the standings. I didn't see that you came in 6th in the second, but maybe I'll have to double check later. It's very possible that it was based off of season as well, and that screws things up, because it defaults to season instead of Grand Prix. But in any case, so now you've decided to give up on trying to help against the Smalland over there on BCAP. Are you trying to hunt out a battleship now or something with your torps?
I'm looking at the map and I see a 2v3 offside. So it's possible that the Montana just does not push, but the Thunder seems interested. The Smalland might be interested. Plus, if the CV's over there, then 3v2, we're not going to win that. So I'm trying to see what the opportunities are at Alpha.
Okay.
Because we have a 4-man push there. So I'm hoping to support that to be able to take A.
Okay. I paused it here for a second because there's something that I'm thinking in my mind, and I would love your feedback on this. That Thunderer is kind of stuck. And I'm talking about the Thunderer on the 6th line, HGH6 right there. Like, to me, I think you might have had a really good chance of going in and getting a broadside torpedo salvo out on him. More importantly, it might take him off of your Thunderer, who's showing broadside to him right now on the minimap.
Yeah, I definitely could have done that. If I did 20,000 to him through torps, if I got like 6 torps into him, because it's only going to be a one-way trip with the Montana Smalland there.
Absolutely.
He's going to heal some of it back, a fair amount. I mean, so it'll be reduced by torpedo, whatever. The reason why I'm not looking at that is I was trained pretty hardcore that if you're going to do something, it needs to result in a kill. And
Okay.
by the positioning of what I'm seeing above A, none of the Ohio or Thunderer seem at all interested in dealing with Charlie, otherwise they wouldn't be sitting broadside to it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm completely assuming that they're gonna go into A and do whatever they're gonna do. So if I did damage to the Thunderer, it would just sit there being unused, whereas they're actively engaging the Thunderer Goliath down south.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a misplay. That's one of the reasons why I did want to look at this, but that's what my thoughts are.
And I'm by no means a carrier main or a Unicom carrier player. It's just something that I was thinking of when I looked at the minimap.
I'd
But-
rather make it a 5v3. I'd rather make it a 5v3.
By going
Because,
after the
as
Goliath
you
here.
said- Yep. The quicker you can get the ships off the board, the faster your team can push in. Because it's very common for ships to get stuck at A.
So I was able to make this drop initially. That's the flak walling that I'm talking about. Whereas if you start your attack, it can potentially just position and stay there, because it won't continue to aim. So they'll just shove flak into the same spot of space over and over again.
Ouch.
Since I didn't have the heal coming in, I couldn't really get a good drop.
Yep, your Smolensk goes down. That's an oof.
Yep.
Teammate, I need your support. Capture that area.
Another scary situation is the Thunderer is leaving and the Ohio is committing, so
Uh-huh.
suddenly our flank is looking really weird.
And you've got a Hargamo in smoke, so he's just gonna pew 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 like crazy.
Yep.
Okay, now these are those fighters you were talking about that will latch instantly?
Correct.
Okay.
They take 7.5 seconds to arrive, but as soon as the enemy planes enter the green, you see they've latched and are charging them.
Mm-hmm.
They are fighters, so they have very little health, so when they get close to the Thunderer, some of those probably get shot down. We only killed 6 planes, for instance, as opposed to 7.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they are very, very responsive once they are primed. And I run the consumable mod, so they last 67.5 seconds,
Okay.
so it's a minute worth of coverage.
Oh wow, okay. Well, unfortunately, your A group has decided to just vacate, except for maybe the Hayate.
Yep. On the one hand, I'm not sure if I shouldn't have chased the Goliath, because I mean he was falling back behind Thunderer AA.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like the further he gets, the easier it is he heals, and the less likely it results in a kill, which is why I started to divert, looking for other choices after.
Well, and I'm curious about your decision to fly through the Thunder or Flak to get to the Goliath. I mean, it would have taken you more time to go around, but you might have had enough planes left over for 2 strikes instead of 1, right?
I think the issue there was wondering if when the timing for the next Goliath heal would come off.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah.
he was, the last I saw him, he was down to like 8-9k, and it's not likely that you get that much damage, especially if there's saturation,
Mm-hmm.
but it could have been a thing. So it's kind of a Hail Mary, really,
Gotcha.
that didn't pay off.
Right, because he was left at 4K.
He was on 3k. If you launched your Bearcat immediately and gone after him, you might have caught him just before his heal went off.
Bearcat's the rockets?
Yes, the rockets. And even if you saw his heal go off, you can easily divert to Thunder or Harugumo, since the tiny Tims are still very effective against them.
Hmm.
So I would count that as a misplay.
Okay.
So what SAT is saying is after the dive bombers, launch your rockets and go straight after him?
No, I think after I got the torps off, he would have
Oh.
used rockets as opposed to me going out with bombs.
Okay.
No, the bombs are fine. But the problem is Goliath, there was no follow-up strike on the Goliath. Unless you saw him physically heal up, I would have gone after him. And make sure he's dead, because now he's sitting at 30k.
Okay.
Hmm.
So drop the bombs, and then you have to just stay focused on the Goliath until he's dead.
Either
Okay.
he's dead, or if he heals up, then you know you can't do much to him, so you go for the next threatening target.
Well, if I go for the Goliath there, and I'm not going after the Thunderer, him and the Haragumo theoretically overwhelm me and our Thunderer. So part of the reason I diverted into the Torps was to block the push. I could be wrong in what I do, but for instance, one of the reasons why I'm not just running from this flank, I'm happy to bow into battleship fire. I'm happy to be a bullet sponge for a while. I've got an armored deck. People love to shoot carriers. It's great bait. So, what I'm absolutely terrified of is running, the Thunder getting ripped apart, because, I mean, they've already taken a lot of damage earlier, but it seems like he's not doing it now. In which case, then we start getting wrapped. We've lost 2 caps, and it's only B, and then we're just running and die.
There's
So it's
no
kind
real
of also
threat
doing
to
a
you.
delay. Well, the
All you
Thunder
have-
was there until I torped him.
Yes, but he's not gonna kill you immediately, so what's the problem?
That was the mental calculation, was that I'm trying to keep the enemy boxed below the E line for as long as possible, on the theory that if they start breaking out and we start having to run, it's either we run to the border or we start running to the B cap, in which case we start getting wrapped. Realistically, they don't have enough guns that's terrifying, but historically, when that pattern starts to develop, it tends to go bad. So I do tend to fight against flank pushing or flank breaking wherever possible. Again, it could easily be a misplay. It's just one of the ways that I translate the map that I see. I'm a very responsive player, not a 3 moves ahead player. It's just not how my head works. So I do tend to be pretty in the moment in my target selection.
Torpedoes to port.
I mean, that's the strength of carriers. You can target pretty much anyone you want. Almost anyone you want on the map. In this
I mean-
case, you have to defend the A flank anyways, because if you retreat to B, then you're gonna lose on points.
Correct.
I'll see you guys later. Have a good Sunday.
All right, I'm Kevin. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, you got a sticky fire on the Goliath now.
So I did start pushing up, and then I think I saw the Montana rotating, and then maybe I started reversing. Again, I'm not terrified about baiting fire, but I mean, it's only bait until you're dead. Then it's not bait. Then it's, oops, you killed yourself. So I
Right.
think now I'm reversing.
Right, and I'm sure you were looking at your Thunder hoping that he would have stopped for the shot instead of going into A to cap.
Would have been nice, but taking
Did
the
you
cap
not
is
catch-
important too.
Did you not catch the Montana going on rotations? Because the minimap did show that.
It's possible that I was staring at the Goliath and missed it, but I did. That's one of the reasons why I slammed in reverse.
So, the usual tunnel vision.
Why did you recall your planes right there?
Because the autopilot was showing side, and I need
Oh.
to show the deck, so I had to forcibly realign it. And also, if you look at what my resources are, I have 4 bombers, I have 3 rocket planes, and I have the torpedoes that are coming back. I probably have like 2. So I'm kind of like ping. You know, my clip is empty.
Okay.
Well, 1. I had 1 torpedo.
So you're right now waiting until you get your next. If you hit the Alt key, by the way, you can see when the next plane will arrive on the deck.
Yeah, so I'm combat ineffective for a little while, sort of like a Hail Mary. Thunderer did take the cap, which is cool. I'm just really excited that the Thunder and Kleber are not dead on B. You know, they have succeeded in not getting murdered, which is all they had to do, which is great.
Yep.
CV's coming for me at this point, so this is where I'm going to start using fighters to try to block that. Because 10k health, it's not a one-shot kill from a CV unless it's Torps, but it's not good.
Sure. I mean, attack
This
aircraft.
is
You know.
where we can attack into their patrol fighter, but because there's 2 seconds, then they latch, then they come over, then they start to shoot. We still get to go all the way in and take the shot,
Mm-hmm.
before the fighter actually gets any kills. That's one of the reasons why enhanced reactions is so great. So it's cool that they buffed it. It's just the spotting was the unintended rare.
Mm-hmm.
Because we latched and actually were shooting down planes before he got a shot with that.
Yep, and now the Goliath is sitting because he wants to try to get that kill on you, and that's gonna get him killed. Or no. Good old anti-air.
Concentrate fire on the designated
Yeah,
target.
I mean, I can't swing around the side of the island because he's got his side to it. I can't go onto the island because it kills the reticle, so I'm kind of stuck going straight. And yeah, that was a heartbreaking moment.
Yep. And you're trying to get that Thunderer to shoot the Goliath, but it looks like he's pretty focused on the Montana right now.
Attention. Reporting
Nope,
the
he
target
has too
position.
much on his hands. This is where not finishing out the Goliath comes to bite you.
Hmm. Oh, he actually did. Good. It means now it's a 2-on-1.
But he's had to throw his planes away, so he is almost ineffective.
Right.
Yeah, coming in on a Monty, I expect to lose 2 bombers. He's going against a Thunderer, so some AA's been blown off. I'm really surprised at this point. I've only lost 1 plane, so hey, I get to drop with 2.
Yeah, right?
But
Bonus.
at least I get to help.
Okay.
Our victory is in sight.
And there goes your Thunderer. Oh, and we missed the Clever dying, so now it's Thunderer on Thunderer action at B cap on East. You guys are down on points. Booyah's gonna go watch some anime. Have fun, dude. Thanks for hanging out. So this approach here is on purpose because you don't want to have your planes flying through anti-air, right?
Yes, if it's gonna go into a strike, yes, but I can't kill the Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the ability to, because I could do some damage theoretically as a heal. I don't have the planes to do anything, so I mean I might take the strike, but it's almost more important to me to just keep him annoyed and not on A.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like be the little annoying threat, and also I get to be able to fight her to protect myself from the Midway.
Yep. Yep, because obviously that's what the Midway's looking to do. You're at 4k health, so one strike on
Already
you.
knows I've got the fighters.
You're not worried about Montana. There's nothing you can do about it. You're worried about the Thunder versus Thunder action. And
I mean, I'm hoping.
at the very least, I would fly over them and see if there's a chance of your Thunder winning, because that's your only hope.
Or you could ask in chat what's the hit points of the 2 left, or something like that.
Well, it's 20 seconds. I'd never even be able to get there.
No.
You had about 20 to 30 extra more seconds, but you kind of spent it running around an A for some reason.
True, but what
Oh.
happens if the planes from the Midway spot me while I'm going over looking at a Thunderer? Then the Montana clears the rock, takes a shot, and I'm dead.
Do you have a choice?
Well, it's one way sucks, the other way sucks. You got to do the best you can, and I mean, theoretically, if he bombs me and one of the bombs hits my control tower or something, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all I can do is the best I can do. So I'm trying to screen A.
If Midway wants to strike you, there's not much you can do about it. You're just gonna have to hope he doesn't see you.
Well, that's not correct, because the Midway has slow strike planes. The rocket planes are very fast, but the strike planes are almost as slow as the FDR, which means I can force fighter engagements because I have interceptors. So that's why he was able to completely abort coming after me, and he just kind of flew across them halfway with me, because he knew he wouldn't be able to get in.
Or he can just keep you spotted and let Montana just throw HE at you. You only have 4K, and he should know that.
Yeah, that would have been an idea, but I still think I could have killed his planes short of my aerial detection, which is like 12-3. So there's a fair amount up, but here he is. He's going to come in to light me. He does have a full squad of rocket planes, so I can trim off 7 of them, but I can't kill all 9. So I have to. He's going to shoot me.
Wow, there's the shot. It's a very close
Hail
game.
Mary. Reset Hail Mary. Reinforce sector, I think. Nope, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I tried to pull off the wall, but because of the engine slowness, it was not responding. And once those shells ricocheted, I couldn't stop laughing in chat. What?
Wow.
So it sounds like one of the biggest things that I could have done was absolutely try to stick onto the Goliath. I don't know if I could have gotten there before he got that heal off, but I mean, if I could have gotten him down, that would have been great.
Yeah.
If you
You know
got him
what?
down, then it would have been an easy victory.
You know what
Yes.
I liked about that game was? I mean, obviously, besides, you clearly winning and laughing, but you ran out of planes. And one of the bitch everyone says is, oh, these carriers never run out of planes. And you're like, crap, there's not much I can do because I'm nearly out of planes.
Well, you can ask the Montana if he ran out of planes.
But the Montana didn't die.
Yeah, but he was still taking full power strikes even at the very end.
No, he wasn't. I think when I shot him with rockets, it was only 2 planes. I think when I bombed him, it was only with 2 bombs.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Almost full power strikes. They're still gonna do a lot of damage. I think you got 13k on Montana on one of your last strikes.